My friend, it happened. When no one expected it, time stepped in and made history. A signing that could change everything has arrived, and I have the exclusive details. If there's one name capable of reigniting the Bills' defense and completely changing the AFC defensive landscape, it's Hendrickson. The Bengals star is at the center of growing tension in Cincinnati, and as training camp approaches, NFL insiders are buzzing with a possibility that could turn the conference table upside down. The Buffalo-Hendrickson connection isn't just speculation. It carries logic, urgency, and the promise of immediate impact. It all starts with the impasse between the Bengals and Hendrickson. According to CBS Sports' Jeff Kerr, the Cincinnati team prioritized the contracts of its offensive stars, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, leaving the edge rusher without a contract extension. For a player who has committed 39 sacks over the past 3 seasons, this represents not only a devaluation, but also a clear opportunity for a breakthrough. Hendrickson, possessing one of the league's most violent quarterback pressure motors, is still under contract, but has already made it clear he could force a departure if the situation isn't resolved soon. And why is this so important for Buffalo? Simple. The Bills are experiencing a redefinition of the pass rush. The departure of Von Miller, coupled with the worrying physical condition of Joey Bosa, who hasn't even practiced since arriving in the offseason, has left the team with a dangerous void in the most important area of the modern defense, the line that cuts down the opposing quarterback's time. Hendrickson can fill this void with authority. Unlike Miller, who only recorded 6 sacks in 25 games for the Bills after signing a $120 million contract, Hendrickson brings consistency, energy, and availability. Bleacher Report's Alex Kay reinforces the perfect fit between the player and Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills would be a fantastic fit for Hendrickson. The team desperately needs more pass-rushing ability. Furthermore, the analyst points out that the defender's arrival could be key to unlocking the defense and raising the team's competitive level in the toughest games. Exactly the kind of move that separates good times from championships. The timing couldn't be more opportune. Bills GM Brandon Beane has a history of acting aggressively late in the summer, especially when he sees a golden opportunity in the market. While his moves typically involve players on the periphery of the roster, the current situation could prompt him to take a bigger step. With Kansas City still the #1 obstacle on the road to the Super Bowl, elite pass rush reinforcements aren't a luxury, they're a necessity. There's also a cost-benefit issue. While the Bengals aren't openly entertaining offers, their attrition could force them to open negotiations to avoid losing Hendrickson for free after his contract expires. This would put Buffalo in a strategic position. With cap room, a clear need at the position, and a recent history of investing heavily in defense, the timing is right to lead the race for the Bengals star. This potential trade would also strengthen the Bills' commitment to defending their defense after frustrating playoff exits. In the last 2 drafts, the franchise has dedicated the majority of its picks to defensive players, demonstrating that the direction is clear: to build a wall that holds off the league's most lethal offenses. Hendrickson, in this context, wouldn't just be a reinforcement of identity. He would be the anchor of a new defense. If Beane pulls the trigger, Buffalo will have an explosive trio in the rotation: Bosa, Greg Rousseau, and Hendrickson, not to mention the depth and development of young players. And all of this could happen in the coming weeks, as training camp heats up and the pressure mounts on the Bengals to make a decision. But while the spotlight is on the potential arrival of an established star, a newcomer to the roster is fighting to prove he can also be a crucial part of this defense. And he just sent a direct message to the fans: he's ready to play. The story now revolves around Landon Jackson and what he represents for the immediate future of the Bills' defensive line. Despite being listed on the PUP list, rookie defensive back Landon Jackson has gone public and categorically stated he is healthy, ready, and eager to take the field for the Buffalo Bills. It was surprising to see him listed as physically unable to play at the start of fan-related activities, especially since he had participated fully in June's minicamp. But now, straight from Mafia Con in Buffalo, he has reassured the fans: "My body is great. I'll be fully ready for training camp," Jackson assured in an interview with Trainwreck Sports. The former LSU player was the 72nd overall pick in the draft and is part of the team's overhauled defensive line, which now features names like Joey Bosa and Michael Haucht. His approach is mature and focused. "I want to earn the trust of my teammates and the coaching staff. That's the only way to earn a spot." Even with the PUP tag, Jackson can be activated at any time, as he still counts toward the 90-man limit. Everything indicates that the assignment was merely a precautionary measure on the Bills' part, and there's no serious harm behind it. For a defensive unit that struggled with depth in the trenches in previous years, seeing a new prospect willing to compete with intensity from the start is excellent news. And if we're talking about strategic economic strengthening, the next development could bring even more balance to the defense. A legendary name is on the Bills' radar, and his arrival could be the final adjustment for a secondary group that still inspires doubts. When it comes to conversations about defensive intelligence, lethal instincts, and locker room presence, few names shine brighter than Matthieu. And now, with rumors growing that the Honey Badger may be leaving the New Orleans Saints, the Buffalo Bills emerge as one of the most plausible and strategic destinations for the 33-year-old veteran. Amid the fierce AFC race, where every defensive play can determine the fate of a season, adding a player with Matthieu's pedigree could be the silent ace that elevates the Bills from contenders to true Super Bowl favorites. Matthieu is far from a decorative piece in the NFL. In 2024, he started all 17 games for the Saints and put up solid numbers: 62 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and a 60.5 PFF grade. Respectable performance for a player well into his 30s. However, the landscape in New Orleans has changed significantly. Derek Carr's retirement was the final straw for a franchise that had finally surrendered to the need for help. Under rookie head coach Kellen Moore, the Saints are now looking to the future, and Matthieu, with his experience and specific salary, is no longer a priority. That's exactly where Buffalo comes in. The Bills' defense remains among the most solid in the league, but there's one area that still raises questions: the safety position. With Micah Hyde retired and Jordan Poyer now in Miami, the team is looking to Taylor Rapp and Damar Hamlin as starters, 2 players with commitment and effort, but who don't inspire the same confidence in high-pressure moments. That's why experts like Bleacher Report's Matt Holder suggest that Brandon Beane take advantage of the market gap and pursue Matthieu for a nearly symbolic price. The financial aspect, in fact, is one of the biggest attractions of this potential move. Matthieu is in his contract year and, due to his age and the Saints' restrictions, no longer has a high market value. This means a trade could be completed for a mere 6th or even 7th round pick, a very low price for a player who can still deliver at a high level, especially in specific strategic situations. Beane has demonstrated in previous years that he knows how to capitalize on this type of opportunity, turning low-risk bets into concrete gains. More than just a technical defender, Matthieu brings intangible value to the locker room. He's a former All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, captain, and mentor. It's precisely this kind of quiet, yet powerful, leadership that can be essential in the playoffs when one game can decide everything. His perspective is another asset. He can play free safety, strong safety, and even line up in the slot, offering Buffalo's defensive coordinator countless possibilities for formation, adapting to the game plan, and reading the opposing offense. And it's not just about technical performance. Matthieu's mere presence can accelerate the development of young players in the secondary, such as Kaiir Elam and Cole Bishop, as well as elevate the group's focus and commitment. In big games, experience counts, and the Bills know this better than anyone, after repeatedly falling out of the playoffs in recent years. At this stage of the offseason, where rosters are being shaped with a complete focus on the title, bolstering the secondary with veteran experience is more than a good idea. It's practically mandatory, especially when the investment is so low and the potential return is so high. The Bills need consistency downfield. I need someone who understands what it means to play under pressure, to face Patrick Mahomes in January, or to hold down a decisive drive against Baltimore. Matthieu is no longer the player who dominated every snap and instilled fear in quarterbacks, but he is still, without a doubt, a name that can change the fate of a game, and perhaps an entire season. With training camp about to begin and uncertainty looming over the safety position, Brandon Beane has a strategic decision to make. Will he act now and take advantage of a significant bargain, or will he rely solely on youth and risk being exposed again in crucial moments? One thing's for sure: if the Bills want the same talent in the title game, they can't afford to waste opportunities like this. Matthieu is available, and perhaps at this point in his career, he's exactly where Buffalo needs him: ready, motivated, and hungry to win again.